Hello, my name is Jim Feldman. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer for Shift Happens. And today I'm privileged to interview John Gilman from ClearSoft. John, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
So I've been in business transformation for about 20 years. So I started out at Accenture, then I worked at Deloitte implementing ERP systems at Fortune 500 companies. And the number one thing we found was that the initial promise of an ERP system or a business software package was that it was going to make companies more operationally efficient, so they could drive down costs and control their headcount growth over time. But what we found 100% of the time was that the exact opposite happened. So if we look at the P&L of our customers after we implemented one of these solutions, it went up in every single department. So it's kind of this conundrum of if we're implementing software to improve productivity, but the exact opposite is happening, what do we do about that? So I founded Clear Software to essentially counteract that and fulfill the initial promise of productivity for large-scale businesses.
So with others in the marketplace, what do you see as your biggest challenge?
Right now, it's educating the buyer on the problems that they face within their businesses. So we're in a field that's called robotic process automation, which is really hot right now, but there are a lot of executives, particularly on the finance side, who need that concept demystified because there's a lot of promises being made about that technology and how it can drive down operational expense and increase efficiency within organizations, but there are some promises being made that haven't been delivered. So more than 70% of RPA projects fail. So it's really educating them on how to avoid the pitfalls of a business transformation that involves an RPA platform like ours or like one of our competitors.
And is that a difficult implementation? Is that more getting the customer or keeping the customer, your customer?
It really depends on how you do it. So there are different ways of implementing process automation, some of which have a lot of pitfalls. And what we really need to do is get up front and educate them and say, look, there are a myriad of options. And if you're looking to automate processes across your organization, you're probably going to need more than one platform to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Because some are good in certain areas of the business and others are good at other areas of the business. But no one solution is a cohesive panacea for the problems that large organizations face.
And do you find that your platform, your marketplace, has become more competitive, less competitive?
It's become a lot more competitive. We've seen a lot more players come into the space. Some of the big guys, some of which are sponsoring the conference along with us, have raised hundreds of millions of dollars at billion-dollar valuations. So it's starting to get more crowded than it was, 7 years ago when we founded the business.
And your platform is web-based?
Yep, completely cloud-based. So it's kind of like if you took, the Mendixes or the Bonita-Softs of the world, which are business process management software platforms, and then you took an pure RPA solution like Automation Anywhere or UiPath, and they had a baby. That's what Clear Software is. It's business process management with RPA together.
Great example. So let me ask you a question. We've seen the word disruptive. We've seen the word competitive differentiation. We've seen everything that's been going on after the last election. We've got another election coming up. What do you see as the future challenges that you're going to have to overcome?
Really, the public response to automation is critical right now, and we've talked with a lot of folks at the conference this week about that. Automation is great from an operational efficiency perspective, but it has a human impact, and that's causing a lot of public outcry. So if you're able to take a business process that 3,000 people in an organization execute on a daily basis, and you cut the processing time in half, it stands to reason that you only need 1,500 people to do that job function now. So just sort of dealing with the cultural impacts of what that means, and can you repurpose people into other positions in the business? Can you retrain them to take positions at another organization? Just sort of dealing with the social impact of what automation really means is critical right now because people are kind of scared. They're thinking, is my job going to be around in 10 years? Is an autonomous car going to pick me up and take me to the airport and get in an accident? So there's this fear right now of automation, and I think over the next 5 to 10 years, as we just get more data and a larger sample size of what automation is doing for society, people will become more comfortable with it. But right now, they're pretty scared of it.
So in terms of the customer delight effect. How do you measure that in your business?
So it's kind of twofold. One is adoption of a platform. So are people actually using it? And then two is you just take out a stopwatch. How long did it take a customer service rep to handle a phone call before we implemented our automation platform, and how long does it take now? And you can see some very measurable ROI. Throw it in an Excel sheet and do some calculations, and you've got your ROI. So it's pretty difficult to say that there's not any ROI with what's going on in the RPA world.
And is your ideal customer a certain dollar volume in a certain distribution channel, manufacturing, etc.? Who is your ideal customer?
So we really excel with a medium-sized enterprise. So organizations from 500 million a year up to 5 billion a year in revenue, so kind of just under the Fortune 500. And then we really excel in specific business processes. So things like order to cash, procure to pay, call center operations. These are three of the typically the most cumbersome processes in an organization, and also the highest volume. So a manufacturer that's $1 billion a year in revenue probably processes 15, 20 million customer orders a year. And if you've got people manually keying in 15 or 20 million customer orders a year, there's an opportunity there to really drive some cost savings. So we really kind of focus on those processes, and they're really industry agnostic.
So if you had an opportunity to say to your audience, here's my aha, here's my light bulb to share with you, what would be that golden nugget?
I think just the aha moment for me was seeing people struggle with business software and how long it took them to get their jobs done. And my aha moment creating this was saying initially I just wanted to make people's lives at work easier. And over time, what we started to realize is one of the byproducts of making people's lives easier and simpler and streamlined is that they get faster at their jobs, and there's productivity savings that the C-suite cares about. So I think on their side, the aha has got to be, if I just look at the data and do some basic process mining and find out that, an investment of, $500,000 or a couple $1 million in process automation software is going to drive $30, $40, $50 million a year in recurring savings and operating expense, then it's a no-brainer.
John, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
This is Jim. Thanks for listening.